I wrote this book because I believe that each of us is born with a gift, something that has been given to us. Our job is to figure out what that gift is and then do everything we can to release it into the world. This book will give you the tools to find your gift and the confidence to unlock it so that you can reach your full potential. My parents came to the UK from Nigeria in the early 1980s. They lived in London on student visas. In September 1984 I was born, and that October my parents vanished from my life. Their visas had run out and they were deported back to Africa. They decided not to take me with them. It would be fair to say that I encountered my first rejection before I even knew how to smile. The amazing thing is that I didn't wither, and my sense of hope didn't die from the pain of being abandoned. I've come to believe that everything happens exactly the way it's supposed to. As a mother of two, I have no idea how my mother was strong enough, brave enough, and selfless enough to sacrifice her own wants and needs so that she could provide me with the opportunity of a lifetime. Leaving me behind meant I got to grow up in what I believe is one of the greatest countries in the world. What my experience has taught me is that it doesn't matter how many times you've been rejected or failed. It doesn't matter how many times you've been knocked down and trampled on. All that really matters is how you use all that pain to fuel your tank so that you can keep moving forward on your journey. Everything you need to succeed is already within you. Each of us has a sad tale to tell. A story in our past that may be so tragic it could land us an appearance on the Jeremy Kyle Show. However, I want to become so successful that I get to share mine on a show like Oprah's, where I get to raise consciousness and encourage those watching to believe that no matter what obstacles get in the way, a little bit of faith, even if it's only as small as a mustard seed, that can get you through the darkness and into the light. Your past is your past, and you must not let it define you. The past has no power over the present moment. Eckhart Tolle, author. I've met a lot of millionaires, successful people who have reached the top of their profession in fields ranging from athletics and music to business. All of them started with nothing, and all of them failed repeatedly. Each of them could share a sad story or two from their past. Essentially, they're no different from us. The only difference is the way they choose to think. Successful people think differently. Learning to change your thinking is not an easy task. It is one that requires resilience and patience. I've spent most of my adult life trying to find the specific formula that takes you from zero to hero. My search was not in vain. I know exactly what to do, and having discovered the formula, I want to share it. I've written this book to tell you and show you the correct steps to follow to help you find your light. This book will put you on a positive path that will take you wherever you want to go. Why share what I've learned? Well, I was standing in my kitchen, looking at my sons and thinking about an ancient proverb that read, "Give a man a fish, and he won't starve for a day. Teach a man how to fish, and he won't starve for his entire life." The most important thing to me is that my sons have a great life, which means they not only survive in this world, they thrive in it, with or without me. When you choose success and happiness, you will come alive. You will no longer feel like something is missing from your life. My background is dancing. I trained as a dancer from the age of 9 until I was 25. I was very comfortable being told what to do by choreographers and trainers, so much so that I used to wonder why the same couldn't apply to life. I was looking for a life choreographer. The information available on how to improve your life is overwhelming and exhausting, I know. I've dedicated the last 13 years of my life to reading the important books, signing up to the incredible courses, training with the leading authorities and researching the experts to understand why people do what they do. I've actually spoken to more than 1,000 business owners in a variety of industries and personally consulted with solicitors, accountants, parents and most recently teenagers. Everything I've learned, I've distilled into a formula for success, a technique that I've tested on myself and it works. And now I have put together the relevant information into the digestible, easy to follow tips, which you'll find in the pages of this manual. Everyone wants to be happy and comfortably rich. The lessons shared in this manual will help you achieve this and much more. The only question is, are you willing to invest in yourself, commit and follow the chapters? On my own journey, I noticed a connection between physical fitness and mental fitness. I reached the peak of physical fitness during my dancing days. Achieving it was as much about mental agility and focus as it was about physical exertion. So when I was building my business, I deployed all the mental techniques that had helped me during my dancing days to bring me business success and improve my life. For me, connecting the mental and physical works, which is why I've used sports analogies throughout this manual. When you work out your mind with the same approach you use to work out your body, you experience life-changing success. Are you prepared to do the things today that others won't do, to have the things tomorrow that others won't have? Norman Vincent Peale, author of The Power of Positive Thinking. To succeed, you must be willing to learn and accept new ideas. Some people have developed the personality trait called psychosclerosis, a term coined by Brian Tracy in his book Maximum Achievement. Psychosclerosis is defined as a hardening of one's attitude. What does that mean? Well, understanding its symptoms is the best way to understand what it is. When you have psychosclerosis, you believe that you are right about most things most of the time, and you are unwilling to accept anyone else's opinion. However, if you are open and willing to change, you can be cured quickly. If you're unable to change, this will always get in the way of any chance of success. Are you prepared to stop doing some things in order to start doing new things? It might mean not falling asleep with the remote control in your hand, but instead fighting to keep your eyes open while you're working on something important. If you want things in your life to change, you have to change things in your life. Let me explain why change is so uncomfortable. Our habits and existing patterns have created wide neural pathways within our mind, so deeply ingrained that it's difficult for us to stop doing what we've always done. For example, have you ever experienced a situation when you got home and couldn't remember how you got there? It's because you've become so familiar with the route that it has become automatic. The only time you become aware that you are not paying attention is when something unexpected happens. This usually interrupts your internal autopilot settings and causes you to jump or experience shock, fear or confusion. These emotions are so powerful that they can pull you out of your daydream. This book is about to pull you out of your daydream. It's time to wake up. Now is the time to learn how to deliberately change your habits and create positive routines that will exercise your mind. Master this and you'll be the one controlling your life. Success is different for everyone. Devon Franklin says success is when you become the director of your movie. Your movie just is based on your life. Who will you cast to play the main character? Idris Elba? Leonardo DiCaprio? Kerry Washington? Or Jennifer Lopez? Just to be clear, you are the main character. This is a hard concept to swallow. Why? Because it's usually frowned upon to put yourself first. Ultimately, it's up to you. You determine if your life is a smash hit or a flop. A friend once said to me, "You think the whole world revolves around you, don't you?" And I said, "What's wrong with that? I thought my whole world should revolve around me, just like your world and your life should revolve around you. If it doesn't, then you must be an understudy, or even worse, an extra. And there's nothing wrong with being an extra in someone else's movie, but come on, an extra in your own life? Imagine Richard Branson starting Virgin and saying, "Do you know what? I'll do cabin crew. Let's hire someone else to be the big boss." Can you imagine? Don't let people make you feel bad because you want to be the leading role in your life. I heard Oprah Winfrey say on a video clip, if you're running a race as fast as you can, the amount of energy and time it would take to look back to see how close the other person is from you could be the very thing that causes you to slow down. 1/100th of a second can be the difference between first and second. We spend so much time looking to see what other people are doing, we slow ourselves down. Start running your own race as fast as you can. Don't look back. The you can'ts that held me back are what pushed me to care so much about your success. For many years, I had no idea that the words I said to myself were responsible for my position in my life. Every time I thought about what I really wanted to do, a negative voice would pipe up and say, "You can't do that," or "Who do you think you are?" or "You're going to look silly if you try that." The only way I could move forward was to tell that voice to shut the hell up. Looking back, I realised I was comfortable in my own misery. It's like a quote I heard from Iyanla Vanzant. She said, "Your eyes adjust to the level of deficiency." Picture it. When you wake up in the middle of the night, your eyes have already adjusted to the dark because your eyes have been closed. You're able to see perfectly, but when you turn on the light, your natural reaction is to cover your eyes as the light seems too bright. However, if you force yourself to look into the light, a new world becomes illuminated, and it's only then that you can realise that what you were seeing before is nothing compared to what you can see now. When you complete this book, you will have crystal clear vision. From my early teens, I was so comfortable feeling miserable that I didn't even notice that I was miserable. I'd put myself down all the time and constantly pick at myself. I'd tell myself off when I did something wrong or silly. I'd compare myself to everyone around me and wish that my life was different. Test yourself. Pay attention to what you say to yourself. You too might be shocked. Look closely at how much damage you are doing to yourself from the inside. When I was 19, my employer paid for a motivational speaker to come in and, well, motivate us. The idea of it sounded really cheesy and a little tedious. The speaker, a man called Clive Gott, said some things that really made me stop and listen. He said first, "It's none of your business what people think about you." Clive Gott. It took me a while to understand this concept, but once I did, it made sense. He also told an alarming story about the emergency procedures we obediently follow when we fly. He explained that the reason we are told to roll up in a ball position with our hands over our heads is to protect our teeth. If the plane were to crash, the recovery team would need our teeth intact to identify us. I have never forgotten Clive's talk because that was the moment I decided I was going to ask more questions rather than just do what I was told without understanding why. I felt compelled to buy his book called Believe You Can and would highly recommend it. It's a short book, easy to read, and it left me feeling good about myself and gave me confidence. I couldn't put the book down. It was mind-boggling. Some of the things that he said made so much logical sense and convinced me to start thinking differently about what might be possible for me. He talked about two types of people. 1, tree huggers, people who constantly live their lives at 15-1 on a scale of 1 to 10. Their glass is not just half full, it's positively overflowing. If their backsides are on fire, they would put it out with petrol and smile while they're doing it. Nothing is negative, therefore there is no need for this stuff. And then 2, outboard motors. These people are complete opposite to tree huggers. Outboard motors walk around all day saying but. Say but really fast over and over again and you might get the joke. For every good idea you have, they will find 3 reasons why it won't work. But we tried that. But what if it doesn't work? Yada yada yada. Avoid these people like the plague. In fact, if you want to see something quite spectacular, why not introduce them to each other and watch them implode? Clive also said you should avoid the guy in the pub who knows everything about nothing. This one is particularly dangerous type of outboarder because they are very adept at convincing you to think again because they are so sure it won't work. Or even worse, they know someone who tried it, can't remember their name right now, but they ended up in all sorts of trouble. These people should be identified and avoided at all cost. They can serve no real or positive purpose in your future success. Wise words from the late Clive Gott. When I finished his book, I put it down and carried on living my life the same. I never actually applied any of the new information to my life. I have lost count the amount of times I've been sitting in church listening to the speaker say, "My people perish for lack of knowledge." Yes, knowledge is important, but action is everything. In fact, if you know but do nothing, you are more foolish because you wasted your time learning it. And time is one thing that we can never get back. No one wants to die. Even people who want to go to heaven don't want to die to get there. And yet death is the destination we all share. No one has ever escaped it, and that is the way it should be because death is very likely the single best invention of life. It's life's change agent. It clears out the old to make way for the new. Right now, the new is you, but someday, not too long from now, you will gradually become the old and be cleared away. Steve Jobs. Did I live? Did I love? Did I matter? Brendan Burchard. What do you want the answer to be when it's your turn to go? Stop wasting your time and live your life. I don't have the patience for all the airy-fairy stuff. What I'll be exposing you to during the next 12 chapters will be proven methods, techniques and principles that are founded on science and universal laws. If you only take a fraction of what this manual has to offer, you will still learn that you can change every part of yourself and your life.